great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode number 792 of the Immigration Answer Show. I'll be here for the next hour or so answering all of your immigration and law-related questions, talking about the news, talking about what's up. How is everybody? How is your week going? Today's Friday. Can you believe it? We've made it. One more week of Ramadan. And speaking of Ramadan, we had something funny just happen. So, during Ramadan, Amani likes to make some of her famous Egyptian meals, and her best meal of all is a meal of, she cooks a whole chicken, but it's inside this rice with ground beef in it. And I picked up Ismail. He came from San Diego yesterday, and I picked him up from the airport, and I had an Emos pizza here waiting for him, but he wanted some protein. So Amani had made the ground beef and the rice to stuff in the chicken yesterday, and so at about 2 a.m, Ismail ate what was supposed to be a lot of what was supposed to be stuffed in the chicken. So hilarious hijinks abound here at the Hacking Immigration Home Center. Amani's gonna have to go to the store to get some more chicken and rice, so that was sort of funny. How are you guys doing? We'll be here for the next hour or so. Shami, there's no complaining about the waiting room being full. There is a procedure to make sure that you get into the waiting room. And what you do is you get on the text line and you get into the waiting room as soon as Hina sends out the text line. If you don't do that, you're not going to get in, and there's no complaining. We are a positive place here. This is a free service. I'm going to try to answer as many people as I can, and we'll go ahead and get started with Good. Hello, Good.
Hi, Jim. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. You're doing a great job helping all immigrants. I've been watching your show for 1 year now, and I see you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I have some few questions for you. The first question is regarding the travel ban that came out, the draft that came out. So if somebody have traveled to any of the any of those countries before, and now trying to apply for like a visa, would that affect the person?
No, it's all about what your passport, what your country of origin is. So no.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much. My second question is right now regarding advanced parole. Um I don't know, but I heard it's taking longer to get it, but will you recommend for somebody who get an I-140 approved for employment base to apply for that?
No, I wouldn't. I would. I mean, if you have some dying relative back home, maybe. But other than that, my advice right now is for nobody to leave the United States until at least the end of the year, unless they're a U.S. citizen or unless they can afford to be outside the United States for up to 6 months or a year.
Okay, so towards the end of the year. Okay.
Yeah, because we're just going to wait and see what happens.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Um, One other question is, I think this should be my last question, so I can give chance to other people to ask questions. I don't want to take more of your time.
It's fine.
If somebody have gotten like a citation, a speeding citation, and let's say you are filling the form, the I-485 form that usually asks if you have been. I think I've watched your show. A lot of people ask about that question. If you have been
Arrested, cited, or detained.
yes.
So that's
What
a
do you?
citation. Yes, a traffic ticket for speeding is a citation. You have to answer yes, and you have to prove that it's been taken care of.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. So you just have to show a proof of that, like a certified court disposition or something, and you tick yes, right?
Yep.
Okay. My last Oh, go. So let's say you are an I approve. You are the petitioner. You've been approved of I-140, and I don't know, but a lot of people say that it doesn't show any immigration intent. So if your spouse is applying for, let's say, an F1 visa, does that affect the person?
An I-140 is an immigrant visa application, so I think if they're included in the application, they should disclose it. Otherwise, they're making a misrepresentation.
Oh, so you mean that so let's say that A is approved for I-140 for employment base, and A spouse want to apply for F1 visa.
Yeah, I think as soon as the government finds out that this person who's applying for a student visa has a spouse in the United States with an approved I-140, they're not going to give the F1.
Oh, so you cannot apply for F1 visa. The spouse cannot apply for F1 visa.
They can apply for whatever they want. They're just not going to get it.
Oh, okay. 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 Thank you so much. I
Have a
really
good day.
appreciate all your help.
Yep, for
You
sure.
too. Bye.
All right. ID Boss asked me again, have you ever had a case where immigration lost one's entire file folder? I answered that yesterday. Yes, they do. It says a couple people are sharing it on TikTok. It says I should ask more people to share the live. So thanks for that. That TikTok video I told you about yesterday, you guys, it went to 4 million views. Aquisha, if you turn off your camera, I'll pull you up next, and then I'll get to Marshall after that. So let's get Aquisha up there. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Okay, so my question is, my husband is Jamaican. I'm American. We're married, been married going on 2 years now. He has a 2-year conditional green card, has state license, all that stuff. We want to go home to Jamaica for 4 days for a funeral, but we're not sure what the situation with the airport. Is it okay, safe for him to travel?
Again, I'm telling everybody who's not a U.S. citizen that you should not leave the United States until at least the end of the year, unless you can afford to be stuck outside the United States for 6 months, 12 months, or to lose your green card.
Okay. All right, that answered it. Thank you.
That was easy. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to be harsh on this, but my job is to tell you the immigration worst consequences. Morteza says, I have a green card. Can I travel to Afghanistan? Again, listen, as Ismail used to say when he was little, listen to my words. If you're not a U.S. citizen, don't leave the United States, and you sure as heck shouldn't go back to Afghanistan. What about DV winners from banned countries? If they're outside the United States, they most likely won't get a visa to the United States. Marshall is here. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Jim.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. And you? I want to thank you for everything that you are doing for all of us here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
I have a really long case, but I'm trying to be short. I moved to the US in 2012 with the F1 visa, and I met my first wife, and we get married in 2015. We went to the interview, and we got 2 interviews. The interview went south, and after that, we stay for 1 year together, and we get divorced. And I met my current wife, and we get married in 2019. In 2021, we went to the interview, and they said that they don't have any doubt with my current marriage, but they suspect that my first marriage was a fraudulent marriage, and for those reasons, they couldn't give me my the green card. But since that time, we are battling, and now we file an appeal, and it's been more than a year now. We are still waiting, no answer. I don't know, and we put my country on the TPS. Now I have the TPS that expire in June. I don't know what to do. I'm totally lost.
Well, the first question is, you said that your interview went south on the first case. That can mean lots of things. Why don't you tell me what actually happened at the interview?
When we get to the interview, we get separated, and we have some discrepancies between our answer. That was the first one, and we schedule a second one. We did not have a lawyer. This was a mistake.
Like what mistakes did you make?
Not on my side, but on my wife's side, because
You're on the same side. You're on the same side. So if your answers don't match, it doesn't matter who it was. So, like, what were some examples?
for example, she made a mistake regarding my mom name, my mom names. She made a mistake regarding uh, the 24 hours question.
What's the 24 hours question?
What we did the day before we came to the interview, and that morning.
Well, how'd you get that wrong? How'd you get that wrong? That's bizarre.
That was something really bizarre, and when I received that, but yeah, I don't have I'm just summarizing what happened the first interview, but the second interview went well, but they are keep bringing back the first interview. And until today, the letter that they sent me with my current was stating that they have no doubt about our relationship right now, but they also they are believing that the first marriage was a fraudulent marriage.
Right. So let me ask you a couple more questions. So, other than your answers not matching at the interview, do you know if USCIS did a deeper investigation into that first marriage? Like, did they go back?
Oh, I forgot to mention that part. Yes, they came to I don't know. They came to the place that I was living with my wife, my first wife, to see if we are really living together. And at that time, my wife was she went to visit her family in Mississippi. She questioned the neighbor. The neighbor say, "Hey, yes, we know them. We saw Jennifer here, and yes."
Okay. So do you know if she said bad things about you to immigration after you got first?
Not on my knowledge.
Okay. All right. So what's the question?
Now, I don't know if I have to keep pushing, or because I consult a lawyer here, she told me that my best bet with what happened is just to admit that my first one was a fraudulent marriage and apply for a waiver.
Well, that might be true, but here's the thing. Why do you want to keep pushing this? To me, if your TPS is running out and you have a pending case, at least you're here in the United States with your spouse. I would lay low. I wouldn't push anything. I wouldn't admit anything until I would admit anything until later on. I would go as slow as I can. I wouldn't be in any hurry for anything. I'd be glad that I'm here. I assume, do you have a work card or you don't have a work card? Probably not.
Yes, with my TPS, I have the working permit. I'm working right now.
So I don't know, man. I wouldn't push this case out. I have a video on the YouTube channel about marriage number 2 is golden, marriage number 1 is a stink bomb, and
Okay.
they can deny. Once they think you commit immigration fraud, you could have a 21-year-old son who's sponsoring you, and you don't get a benefit because of the fraud. So it's a really big deal.
Okay. All right. And about the extension of the TPS, do I still have? I'm qualified for the extension of 480 days.
If you're eligible for it, apply for it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Jim.
Bye, buddy. Okay. Hussein, we already told you that if you don't get a properly receipted I-290B within 30 days, you can't appeal. Your appeal is lost. You messed that all up. So there's nothing to do except what I told Daisy to tell you. There's nothing to do. You blew it because you got rejected twice on your 290B. All right. Kayla is here. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So I have a couple questions. I'm the immigrant. Well, no, I'm the U.S. citizen spouse, and so we've already filed our I-130, and I've heard you many times say that you prefer or you think it's best that everything gets filed together.
Hold on. It's not that I think it's best. It is best.
Okay. With that being said, we filed it in December.
Okay.
If I go ahead and we file the I-485 and then the waiver also, can we do that, or should we just wait for the I-130 approval at this point?
What's the waiver?
The 601A, they said. I was told about a 601A.
Who told you about it?
Okay, and then you're not gonna like this part, but we had a paralegal help us with the I-130.
Okay. So your spouse entered without inspection,
Yes,
and your spouse overstayed, obviously. They've been here a long time.
since 2003. Yes,
How many times did they try to enter the United States?
just one.
So that's good. So you can't ask for the 601A. You're not going to handle your case like everybody else. So you actually have to wait for the I-130 to be approved, and you have to begin consular processing, and then you file the 601A later. So you definitely need a lawyer. You should stop hanging out with paralegals, and you cannot file the 45 now. You can only file the I-130, and you have to wait for it to get approved.
Okay, all right. So I understand that the I-130 doesn't really give any kind of like protection if he gets, ICE comes around or whatever, which I don't think they would because he's not. I don't know anymore, to be honest. But in the case that something happens, like what can be done if he's like detained or deported?
He's subject to deportation. So, you'd have to process the I-130, and then at that point you would still do a 601. You probably do a 601 waiver. So what would happen is if he gets deported, or if he takes voluntary departure, he has an overstay problem. So he has a 10-year bar, and he entered without inspection. So he's going to need the waiver. So the way it would work in that case is you process the I-130, then it goes to the National Visa Center, it goes to the embassy, and then they refuse him because he has the bar and because he entered without inspection. And then you file the waiver at that point. And then right now it's like a 3 or 4 year wait for them to rule on the waiver, and then maybe he gets to come back.
Okay. And then my next question is about this alien registration with the USCIS.
Yep.
Now, with the I-130 just pending, he did sign up for the PIP that Biden did before it got canceled.
Yes.
He got as far as biometrics and then even got an alien ID number with it. So doesn't that technically still register him in their system?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check. I haven't dug deep into the rules of what constitutes it. I don't think that it does, but it might.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
That's a tough situation. I'm sorry you're going through that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. There's lots of questions in TikTok about travel. I'm not going to answer each one. Again, listen to my words. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you should not leave the United States unless you can afford to be outside the United States for 6 to 12 months and/or to lose your green card. The only people we are saying in our office who should leave are those who can get advanced parole through DACA, because that solves a big problem, or those going back home because they have a waiver. All right, let's go to Abu Shibshib, the father of the Shibshib. Hello. Abu, are you there? All right, Abu Shibshib is not there. Let's go to EK. Hello. Hello, EK, you're on mute.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Jim. Hi. This is, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy you chose me. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. My VAWA case was approved, and I have just filed for adjustment of status.
Okay.
I-485. I'm still waiting for them to hear from them. I haven't heard from them yet. But in my VAWA case, I had included my two sons, which were put in the approval of VAWA case, and my two sons are in Africa. So my question is, while I'm waiting to hear from them or to approve my adjustment of status, can I apply for them, or can I still just wait? Can I wait for them to either to approve and then I apply for them? That's my question.
Don't know the answer.
Sorry?
I don't know the answer.
Okay.
But if you email me, I can try to get some feedback from the other attorneys in the office, and we can come up with a little plan for you. I think you might need to wait until you get the green card, but I'm not entirely sure.
All right. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
your
just
time.
we'll email you back, okay?
Okay, I will send you an email. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Grace Light Hub says, my wife, who's a U.S. citizen, doesn't want to add me to her lease, but she lives with me. That seems strange. It's probably Section 8 housing. That's usually when we see that, when the U.S. citizen doesn't want to add them. And of course, that's a huge problem when immigration comes knocking on the door of the landlord and says, hey, Mary, can we see Mary's lease? We want to see if Mary's spouse is on there. Mary's spouse is on there. And then Mary's spouse isn't on there. And then you're telling one federal agency that John does live there and one agency that John doesn't live there. That's a big, big problem. All right. Kevin, hello.
Hello, good sir. How are you? Thank you for taking my call. I have two cases for you. One is involving a DACA person who is about 35 years old, came here when she was 4, got DACA before the age of 18. And my dad became a citizen through my citizenship. And we applied for her case to get adjustment of status or whatever they do for the consular process, I think it's called. When I filed her application, I wasn't sure if she had to go to the council back in where we're from, or if she could just do it here. So when I filled out the application, I put both of those premises on it per se. My concern now is we are about 3-4 years from when we apply for that. So I believe in about 2 to 3 she's supposed to have a visa. And I'm wondering if I should reach out to USCIS and explain to them, look, I didn't know which process to go, and that's why I filled out both, or should I just let them look at it and go, okay, this case doesn't go this way, it goes that way, therefore it'll be okay kind of thing? Or what do you think?
Okay, so first of all, we need to know who all the players are. So there's you, and you're a U.S. citizen, right?
I became a U.S. citizen sometime. It's almost been almost 15 years ago now, maybe 20, close to 20 now.
And you
I
sponsored.
got my
Hold on,
citizenship
hold
through
on,
marriage.
hold on. Kevin,
Yes, sir.
stick with me here because you're saying a bunch of stuff. You went off on all these tangents. You are a U.S. citizen. You filed for a green card for your father. Is that right?
I filed for a green card for my father, correct? And he eventually became a U.S. citizen about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 now.
Okay, and then there's, I guess, is it your sister who has DACA?
Correct. My sister, who is my father's child, yes.
Okay, and your dad filed an I-130 petition for her.
Yes, sir.
How old was she when she came to the United States?
4.
How did she enter the United States?
Through a legal port of entry. So we were checked by, in Miami,
From what country?
Bolivia.
Okay, so she came on a visit, overstayed, and then got DACA, and she's had DACA ever since.
Correct. She's never lapsed. She's never, my understanding is that so long as they were under 17, they would never incur illegal presence so long as their DACA was active. And she has not had her DACA lapse.
So how old is she now?
35.
Wow.
Indeed.
When and what is the priority date on the app? So you're talking about an application that your father filed for her.
Right, and we filed it. So we got bad advice. So we didn't file while he was a green card holder, which might have put her in the,
Really bad advice.
I think, under the 19 age period. So when we filed for her, she was over the age of 19. So of course there was a lower priority on her case now. Oops.
Well, that would be 21, but anyway, what's his what? So she's the unmarried daughter of a U.S. citizen is the category she's in now.
Correct, and she's still unmarried, and she wasn't married at the time when we filed the application. Yes.
Okay, and what's her priority date?
I have to go back, but I think she's supposed to get something in the next 3 years.
Okay,
So
so
she's been in
what-
about 4 years.
Okay, I understand now. So what's the question?
When I filed the application, I believe she's supposed to go to the consular process where she leaves the States to go wait for her visa in Bolivia, and then she will enter the country with that visa, correct?
Well, I mean, nobody knows yet. You shouldn't mess with anything yet. Has the I-130 been approved or is it still pending?
It was approved, and we're just waiting for the visa to become available.
Okay, so
Or we have a receipt, I guess.
okay, so here's what I'll say. Number one, this is a very complex case. This is not the kind of case where you just talk about on a YouTube show and figure out somebody's future, right? So that's number one. At some point, you're going to want to talk to a lawyer and have them do an analysis. But a lot of this is going to depend on if DACA ends tomorrow, she's out of status, right? And she's going to start accruing unlawful presence. So nobody can predict what's going to happen with her case, including when her priority date is going to become current. So you shouldn't do anything mentioning consular processing or adjusting status because you don't know what's going to happen.
Right. So what I'm saying is that at the time of the application, I believe they ask you both of the questions of whether you go through the consular process or whether you go through a USCIS immigration office nearby.
Right. And what I'm saying is it doesn't matter what you put because it's all going to depend on what the facts and the law are at the time that she becomes eligible. Does that make
Gotcha.
sense?
So don't do anything. Just continue to wait until we hear back from immigration about her visa. I
Well,
guess.
generally, yes, but the bigger thing is you need to get an attorney involved sooner rather than, not necessarily me, but you need to get an attorney involved sooner rather than later because this is a high wire act you're trying to pull off. This is very complex. I mean, I'm scratching my head trying to figure out what's going to happen, and I can't imagine being a non-immigration lawyer trying to figure it out.
Believe me, it's been complicated. I've been handling most of my family's immigration paperwork for the last few years.
You've done a good job for the most part, except for that not filing when dad was a green card holder.
Correct, because we got bad advice from the lawyer. He goes, yeah, it'll be easier if you wait till he's a U.S. citizen. I'll be like, okay, great. Now, I do have one more case for you.
Okay.
So I recently got married, and I brought my wife from Bolivia. She came in on a fiance visa.
Okay.
We got married before the 3 months period, but
Good.
I have not yet submitted my adjustment of status for her because I'm a tax accountant, so I'm a little busy. And I plan to do it as soon as April 15 comes around so I can submit that. Is she in any danger? Should I be worried?
You're kidding, right?
I mean, half kidding.
You're kidding that you're too busy to file her I-45 because you're a tax accountant? Are you serious?
I've been doing about 16 hours days. And the problem is I want to make sure that I file in an accurate and well taken care of form. And I don't want to make any mistakes. And it requires attention to it. So
maybe hire a lawyer, number one. Number two, hello, Kevin. Yeah, your wife just got picked up by ICE and she's in removal. How fun does that sound?
Doesn't sound very good. So
are your other client, your tax clients, more important than her?
So when you put it that way, no.
Yeah.
So okay, got it. So prioritize that, submit it as soon as possible.
I was gonna say yella, which is Arabic, but instead I'll say andale.
Sounds like a plan. I think you covered my question with that. That was one of my biggest concerns. But yeah, I mean, at this point, immigration doesn't have where we're living because we moved recently.
Yeah, but remember when she came through, she got a stamp in her visa?
Yeah, and that expired on January 12th.
So some might say you should have filed before January 12th.
We didn't get married until December 8th. So
then you should have filed on December 9th.
Got it, sir. Got it.
And Kevin, I hate to say it, that would have been before you got too busy as a tax accountant.
Yes, you're right. You're very right about that. I will
Thanks,
not deny that. Thank you
All
so
right, see you,
much.
man.
I will bug you later.
Later. All right. Don't mean to be harsh, but it is Ramadan Jim. Last 10 days of Ramadan, Jim is dealing. I do believe that my infamous Shabazz meltdown was during Ramadan. I think it was, and that was back when it was Skinny Jim. So it was Skinny Jim during Ramadan, and that's when I lost my temper at old Shabazz. Poor Shabazz. So I don't put up with a lot of stuff, especially a little bit early in the morning. I'm a PR. I had a problem 30 years ago, a domestic violence, which was dismissed. Can I be a citizen? Maybe. You got to research it. You got to get all the records. You got to see what's going on. Why aren't we allowed to travel with a green card? What's going on? Okay. Check out the YouTube channel. I made a longer video about it yesterday about why you can travel. I'm not saying you can't travel. I'm just saying what happens if you get thrown into a dark room and they try to convince you to give up your green card. They say that they think you were outside the United States for too long, or you had some old marijuana charge, and because of that, they're going to not let you into the United States and they're going to deport you. This is what's happening to some green card holders. This is what's happening with some green card holders. So just because you have a green card doesn't mean they're going to let you back in. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you that there's a risk if you leave the United States that you have a big problem. Sadine, if you turn off your camera, I'll pull you up next. Sadine, hello.
Hello. I have a few questions.
Sure.
I have a friend in Jamaica. He's been married for over 5 years. His wife is an American citizen. So he wants to know which decision will be better for him to come in and do the I-485 or to do consular processing.
Well, he can't come with immigrant intent. He can't come here with the intent of getting a green card. So if he came and was here and decided later to apply for a green card, that's one thing. But otherwise, I mean, did you say they've been married 5 years?
They've been married around 5 years, yes.
What are they waiting for? They should have started a long time ago.
I know he was indecisive about coming here because he has his businesses in Jamaica. So he was indecisive about that, but
Okay.
so now he's thinking about it. They're both thinking about it, but he was asking, what's the best steps?
Yeah, most likely they're going to want, especially if they're not in any hurry, they should probably just file the I-130 and at least get that part started.
And then afterward, they can decide if they want to do consular process or adjustment.
Well, I mean, if he doesn't already have the visa, once she files the I-130, he'll never get a visit visa again because then he's married to a U.S. citizen and he's demonstrated immigrant intent. So he probably needs to think it all through. But again, he shouldn't come here with the intent of adjusting.
Yeah, that's what I told him. But he already has a visit visa.
Okay. Well, then I would say come to the United States, hang out for a while, have fun, and then figure out what he wants to do.
Okay, but he can come in and maybe do like within less than 3 months, do the adjustment, and he will be safe.
I mean, it depends how things go. It depends on what the officers ask him at CBP. It depends on which officer he gets. So no one can guarantee that that's going to be okay.
Okay, and the consular process will roughly take at least 2 years.
At least 2 years, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Sadine. See ya. This is the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. We had our Chicago meeting, so we should be deciding on our Chicago office here in the next couple days, and I will keep you guys posted. I get the sense Laura's moving, but I can't keep track of all the comments. So maybe, Laura, send me an email or a Facebook message. Let me know what's going on because I couldn't keep track of it all. Lululemon, hello.
Good morning, Jim. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Yeah, my question is, I'm in the process of collecting evidence for marriage filing. My question is it okay to get a letter of affidavit from my son who lives in the Philippines? Does the UCIS accept that, like letter of affidavit from outside the country?
Are you talking about an affidavit of support or an affidavit saying, yeah, it's a real marriage?
letter of affidavit saying this is a real marriage.
I mean, certainly it's acceptable. It'd have to be notarized. The question is, what meaningful testimony would a son who's living in the Philippines have to talk about a relationship that's taking place in the United States? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but not only from my son, with my other friends and relatives too.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. When we talk about marriage evidence, we talk about the whole collection. I would say it's not really, to me, all that compelling. I wouldn't to me, if I was putting your case together, I wouldn't say, oh man, we really have to have that. But
okay,
it doesn't hurt.
All right, that's all, Jim.
Good luck, Lululemon. See ya. All right, I'm gonna go to Ben, and then after that, I'll go to Bernard if Bernard turns off his camera. Hello, Ben.
Hello, Jim. Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing?
I'm great, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. First of all, I'd like to thank you while you're doing this while fasting in the Ramadan.
Oh, it's my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite thing to do. It totally resets my brain during Ramadan. It's great.
We really appreciate you, what you're all doing for our community.
Sure.
So, Jim, I'm calling in behalf of my friend. I have just a couple questions. I'm not going to take a lot of time. So, I have a friend who came here with J1 student visa last year, and he met with an American girl in the place that he was working, but things wasn't serious that much in those times. And then he decided to apply for change of status to tourist visa. He was planning to travel the United States before going back to his country. And in the letter that he sent to the USCIS, he said, he actually made a travel plan. He said, I'm going to go here, I have enough money, and all these stuffs. And they actually approved his change of status like a month ago. And they gave him time for like 6 months. He still has time for the tourist visa, but things got serious with with his American girlfriend. And then he decided to live with her. They actually got an apartment together for 1 year lease, and they actually started to make their life together. And
Did he do all the things he promised to do when he got the extension?
So he actually traveled in the same state with his girlfriend, but he didn't go to all those places that he said he will go, like that travel visa specific places that he said he will go. He didn't do those.
Did in the time that he was doing the tourism, was he with her the entire time?
Was he what?
Was he with her the entire time?
Yes, sir, he was.
Okay. All right. And just real quick, before I forget, on the J1, was he subject to Rule 212E or not?
He was, but he got a waiver actually, and he started the process for waiver. But then I think USCIS made an explanation. He said his country is not on the list anymore, so he actually got the waiver suspended. I mean, the waiver doesn't, the 2-year rule is not applying to him anymore.
Okay. All right. I'd want to take a look at that and be 100% sure, because that's going to keep him from getting a green card if that's not accurate. Yeah. But that's fine. Someone else told me that the other day too. What country was it?
He was from Turkey.
Yeah. Somebody else told us that about Turkey the other day. Okay. All right. So now he's shacked up. He's got okay. Here's another good question. I don't know if you saw me cringe when you said they got a lease together. How long into his visit did they get a lease together?
So he applied for tourist visa towards the end of his visa, which was around October. But
then he got the lease.
No, he got the lease at the beginning of this year. But before that, they started to live together anyway. Like they were started.
But towards the end of the visit is when he got the lease. It wasn't at the beginning. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
No, sir. It was at the January 1st that they got the lease. Okay. But before that, they were living together anyways in the small apartment that he was living.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So what's the question?
My question, the things that he said he will do, like those travel plans, would that be a problem to USCIS? Would they say you made those plans because you just wanted to not to be illegal here, but you actually
I understand what you're asking me. I think they would frame it a little bit differently. Would you like me to tell you how I think they'd frame it?
Yes, please.
I think they'd frame it, hey, you applied for a change of status from J1 to B1, B2, and you said that you were going to go to all these places. Now we find out that you have this girlfriend. Now we find out that you have a lease. Now we find out that you filed for a green card, and we didn't know about that girlfriend. We think that's a misrepresentation, and you might need a waiver. I think it's a close call, but I think in Trumplandia, that's something that they could try to pull. It might go right through. They might not make a big deal about it at all. But if you get a frisky officer at your green card interview, I could see them hitting him pretty hard with that and trying to beat him up for not doing what he said he was going to do. I think that's going to be a real theme that we're seeing with any kind of non-immigrant visa stuff, that they're going to go back. They are going back and they're looking at what you said you were going to do versus what you did. Like, I was talking to that guy the other day. He said he was coming to do tourism, and his girlfriend picked him up from the airport and they shacked up that night. So I think this one's a little grayer, a little fuzzier, and I think he might have a little bit more wiggle room, but he's going to need a good lawyer when he files for a green card, and he's really going to have to be well prepared to explain how things changed and why he didn't do those things. I might even throw one other thing out there. I might still go ahead and visit some of those places, even if it's with her now, even if it's late. And maybe there's a discussion to be had about how I got distracted with my hormones got me distracted, and I was hanging out with her, but we still really did end up going to see the Grand Canyon and Yellowstone and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was clear enough. Thank you very much, Jim. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben. Good luck, buddy. It's an interesting dilemma. I'd love to hear how it rolls out at the end.
I'll send the email to you how it goes. Thank you very much.
That's great. Thanks, man. See ya. Oh, we're having fun on the old Immigration Answer Show. That was a good call. Hina, please let them know that would be a good one. And I didn't know Hina was leaving me questions from TikTok, so let me go. All right, so I'm going to cover a bunch of TikTok questions. OPT question: if I pursued 2 unrelated STEM degrees at the same time, which one can apply to my OPT? 2 unrelated STEM degrees. Which? I don't know. Oh, I pursued 2 unrelated from each other. I see. STEM degrees at the same time. Which one can apply to my OPT? Whichever one's closer to your job, I would say. How long? Only one asks, how long is the citizenship process now? Depends where you live. I would say anywhere from 4 to 12 months still. We're not seeing big delays there. How can we change J2 status to J1 status within the USA? You would file an I-539, but we're not big fans of filing I-539s. We're not big fans of trying to change or extend status in the United States, because you don't get an answer anytime soon, and you're sort of left hanging there in the wind without a decision. Shafiq, can USCIS adjudicate an I-45 based on approved I-130 but with a pending asylum case in court? No, not if they're in court. You would have to get the court proceedings terminated and adjust with USCIS, or you'd have to raise adjustment as a defense of deportation in the asylum case, in the deportation case. Sacha, oh, I like that name, Sacha. Sacha says, is it advisable to submit unsolicited evidence to my online account? Go for it. Cooley N, can having an insurance discount from the state affect someone with a pending AOS? No, I don't think so. Will visa be renewed if there's a DUI on the record in the last 2 years? No, they won't give you a visa. Hina got kicked out of the waiting room. Sorry, Hina, it's okay. I got this. It's all good. Bruno, I'm over-the-road truck driver and do not sleep with my wife at the residence. Can she file for NATS under the 3-year rule? No, you need to wait the 5 years. Christy, if a drug charge was dismissed and expunged, is it still a big possibility of getting a green card? I would say it depends on what the drug charge was. The expungement doesn't matter. It depends on how they pled. Depends on lots of things. On those, we have to compare the statute of conviction, the range of punishment, and the state definition of drugs and punishment to the federal. So that could be a really big problem. Just because the drug charge is expunged in state court doesn't mean anything to USCIS, and it certainly doesn't mean anything to CBP. Ernesto. Oh, Ernesto was a great character on Better Call Saul. He was Saul's little assistant. I really liked Ernesto. Ernesto, I'm a permanent resident. I had a problem 30 years ago of domestic violence, was dismissed. Can I become a citizen? I answered that one earlier, and I said that it depends, and you have to get the records, and you have to prove it all up. Jerry Yo-Yo, does marriage-based green card adjustment of status application require you to submit all passport pages for evidence? We only send in the pages that have stamps in them. Amber Psionic, I received my, now for asylum you would. Amber Psionic, I received my green card through marriage in April 2018. Can I apply for citizenship yet? Oh yeah, you could have done, if you're still married and the marriage is good, you could have done it in 2021, but now you can certainly do it now. It's only 5 years. RM, after getting my green card based on asylum, should I get travel documents or a reentry permit? No, you should stay here until you get your citizenship. Ode Perfume Esco 0 is coming to the U.S. on an F1 student advisable at the moment. Hell yes, get here if you can. Get into the United States if you can. All right. I told Bernard if he turned off his camera, I'd pull him up next, and here he is. Hi, Bernard.
Hi. Thank you for having me in your show.
Sure.
I know that I took part in the show last year. I know your uncle has this name. It's a beautiful name.
Yeah, and, that's right, Michael Burke.
I understand how important your advice was about leaving the country. However, I'm a green card holder. However, I absolutely need to spend 1.5 months in Italy this summer. Is it like worth applying for a reentry permit for 1.5 months?
No, you don't need it for that. If you're hell bent on going, the reentry permit's not going to help or hurt you. It's just sort of not. It's not. You don't need it for that. That's for a different purpose.
Okay. Well, that was my question. And the thing is, I have a history of, before December 2024, I have a history of intermittent stays. Like, I had some absence of 3 months, 4 months sometimes, but this was prior to December 2024. I hope this time goes well for this summer, for this 1.5 months absence in
Well,
Italy.
so when did your green card start?
February 2022 through the DV program.
Okay, so let's say February 22 to February 23. How much time were you in the United States?
For 2022, those were less than a month.
The whole year.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
How about the next year?
2023, we are talking about 2 months stay in the US, and
then 24.
2024, I incremented that. I reached about 3 months stay, and since December 24,
you're crazy. You are insane if you leave the United States. That's exactly the kind of green card. These are the exact kind of people that are getting trouble at the border. You're crazy if you leave.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you.
See you, buddy. All right. Donna's giving big ups to all the Yardies. One love, my friends. One love. Leo, hello. Leo, you're on mute.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here, sir.
Hi.
Yes, sorry. Good afternoon, sir.
I can already tell from your voice that I'm going to like you, Leo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, thank you, sir. So I just have one question, sir. Well, two, but the first one is, I'm presently on an I have a work permit through EB3 on skilled visa. EB3 on skilled visa. So I got a company that has filed the I-485 for me.
Okay.
But the challenge that I'm coming is that I got a job in a skilled field, and I was wondering if I could my employer gave me leave of absence for 6 months to go and work that and get some money, because I'm actually an attorney. I'm barred in 2 states in the United States. So I actually got a legal job somewhere, and the money I'm getting from the unskilled, it's minimum wage, even though it's gonna lead to a green card, and my financial burdens are so much. So I was thinking, what are the risks if I go and work that job? Because the job pays a lot. Like 3 months of that job would sort out all my financial problems for a long while. So I wanted to go work that and then come back to my employer. I wanted to know what the risks were, sir.
I believe, Leo, that we're going to see a severe crackdown on EB3 green card applications filed by people who are overqualified. So I don't think the problem is, I do think it's a problem if you leave this unskilled job to go make money in a law-related job. I do think that is in itself a problem, but I think the bigger problem that you're going to have is when it comes time for adjustment, they're not going to like the fact that you have a law degree and you're trying to get a green card on some unskilled labor degree.
Even though I've worked for the employer, I've worked for him 18 months now.
Yeah. So here's what I would say. I think it's going to be a tough road to hoe. I think we're going to see a lot more crackdowns on this. So what were you here? Were you here like on an F1 and then a OPT?
Yes, sir. I came on an F1.
And then did you do OPT?
Yes, I did OPT, sir.
Yeah. So I think the last thing, Leo, that you want to do right now is highlight your overqualifications for the unskilled labor job by going to work in the legal job. I understand, but I would be like, man, you're so close that you got to figure out a way to suck it up with your bills if you can until you get that green card. The last thing you want to do is wave your hand and say, hey, don't forget, I'm way too qualified for this EB3 job I'm trying to get a green card through. I'm a freaking lawyer after all, and I can do legal things. So I think this is like the worst time ever to do what you're saying.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome, Leo. See you, buddy. All right, that was Leo. Yeah, we get lots of calls from people who are overqualified for EB3, and I think that this is something that USCIS can really start pounding people over the head with. Dennis is here. Hello, Dennis.
Hi, Jim. Can you hear me?
I can. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm gonna build in this scenario because it's quite a bit of information, so try to slow me down if you don't understand. Okay.
Go for it.
So I came as a J1 student back in 2008. Finished my program in 2010. Moved back to my home country, Central America, for a year and a half, and then I came to the U.S. at least once or twice at a B1, B2. I did complete my 2-year residency. Like 6 months was more cumulative because I moved back to the States as an F1 student.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, I guess one of my questions there was that is okay since I met the 2-year in the last 6 months was cumulative, right? Meaning,
bits and pieces.
Yeah. And then I met my wife in November 2011. And I was visiting her hometown due to the fact that we have friends in common through our church. My church in my home country is connected with her church in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
We moved back to the state and then moved back to the States as an F1 student. And in fact, I think I met that 2-year as I was a F1 student as well. And then I finished so I started my degree in 2012, or continued my degree in 2012 in New Hampshire. I finished my undergrad in 2013. I worked for a couple of years under the OPT.
Yeah.
In 2016, I decided to pursue more schooling. I got my master's and finished my master's in 2019, and then I worked for a few more years under the RPT. Fast forward in 2020, while being under F1 and OPT, I reconnected with my wife now, and we've been friends throughout the years. It's just that we started dating right around May 2020, and then we got engaged in Mexico. We actually went to Mexico and got engaged in November 2020. 6 months later, we had a long history. So, being our 30s, we knew that it was not going to take too long if we knew that it was going to work. So, and we know our families and all that. So anyway, so we came back to the U.S. and a couple months later, we actually went to visit my home country. So she gave me my family, and then we came back and we just were there for 2 weeks. And in January 30th, 2021, I got my license, and we filed 2 months later. So I actually didn't wait for 90 days I just didn't. We knew for a long time. We had a long history. And so we filed in March 2021, and then we married through a church in April 2021. That's when she moved in. She didn't move before because we didn't believe that's just not how we do based on what we believe.
Sure.
And then so that was probably one of my second question is, do you see any risk there? We have a long history. We did it. I mean, I met the 2-year, I followed the F1 program. I was supposed to be, she moved in the week we got married, which was 2 months. We got married through our marriage license was on January 30th, 2021. So any questions you see there?
When did you file the I-130 and the 45?
We filed in March 2021, and I got approved in May 2022.
So you got a 2-year green card?
Yes. Yep.
And then you filed for a 751?
Yes. So that was the next thing. So while I was in Georgia, we got approved. My son was born, my first son, in 2022, right after I got my conditional green card. We moved to Ohio. How I filed my 751, and now that was last year in March 2024, and then I just filed for my N400.
So here's what I'm going to say, Dennis. You should be extremely proud of yourself. Extremely proud of yourself. You're just the kind of person that we want in the United States. You're just the kind of person who's done everything right. You're at the end of your journey. I think you're in very, very good shape. I think you're going to have no problems with your naturalization case. I don't think you have to worry about anything. Everything sounds great.
Yeah, we own a house. We have a lot of evidence. I think my account is full of evidence, so the field officer is going to have a lot of fun. Here's the question though. Traffic citations. It is my understanding that on the 751 excludes traffic citations, but then on my N400 question 15B, I answered no, and I just got I got 3 tickets where I had to pay a fine is under 500, minor traffic, seatbelt, and then rolling stop, traffic violation. I am bringing that to my interview. However, have you heard anything about people having issues getting their F400 or 751 because of traffic minor violations?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. That's all I have, Jim. Thank you so much.
Good luck. Let us know when you get your citizenship, okay?
Will do, Jim. Thank you.
See you, buddy. Happy for you. That was a good call. I'm very that guy did everything right. And I don't know how long Dennis has listened to the show, but I think if he listened for a couple of weeks, he'd feel a whole lot better about his case if he really thought about it. All right, a couple more questions from Hina, and then we'll be off to take 1 or 2 more calls. Where was I? Oh yeah, Jado. I had my NATS interview in August 2024. Still no movement. What can I do? Yeah, we should sue. If 120 days go by and you haven't gotten a decision, you can sue on your naturalization case, and you've waited long enough. Daniela, do you recommend taking an attorney to the interview for marriage-based green card? Yes, I certainly do. Missy, my husband has an expedite removal on his record from 2017, but his I-130 was approved. Missy, you're going to need to talk to a lawyer and have them look everything over. I assume he's overseas, so he would have a 5-year ban. So if it was from 2017, he should be okay. My wife wants a divorce. I came here on a marriage green card case, 2 years type. What can I do? My wife wants a divorce. I came here on a marriage. Oh, you can file a 751 on your own. Go ahead and let the divorce go through. I mean, you need to talk to a lawyer, but you can file a 751 and get a 10-year green card without her, as long as it was a real marriage. And you probably want to see if she'll help you by signing an affidavit that the marriage was real. It just didn't work out. Our asylum application is still being submitted with everything going on. Sure, we just filed one this week. Is it safe to apply for citizenship? I received a governor pardon for a felony back in 1992. We'd have to look at all the records for that one. All right. Let's go to Mr. R. Hello.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing good. I have a few questions regarding marriage. Actually, I'm on F1 right now, and I'm about to complete my study, but I am planning to marry a US citizen.
Great.
But she's my age is around 27, but she's around 50.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what are the precautions should I take, like in
Why-
starting?
Why are you marrying somebody 23 years older than you?
Yes, we love to we have the same things that we do. We love cooking, and we have spent some time. together. So yeah, so that's we thought like she is a restaurant owner, and that's why I think like we can do good in business. So that's why.
How did you meet?
Like I came once when I was in US. I came once, so she was from India, but she's a US citizen right now. And once I came to a restaurant and she greeted me well, gave me some food. That's how we started meeting and like going to eat. But yeah, that's how.
So, so tell me about your immigration history.
Like I came in 2023 May on F1, and I went to India like in October 25. Then I came back to US again on Jan 12 this year. And yeah, I'm on F1 for now.
So what progress have you made towards a degree?
Yeah, it's about to end.
Huh?
It's about to end. I'm at the end of the degree.
What are you going to get? What degree?
Like it's master's in cybersecurity.
What country are you from?
I'm from India.
Okay. I don't know, man. I think they're going to give you a hard time.
Okay. Like how?
They're going to think you're marrying her to get a green card so you don't have to go through the H-1B lottery. That's what's going to happen. They're going to think that you're marrying her because you don't want to go through the H-1B lottery and you don't want to wait 20 years for a green card because you're from India.
Okay, so
so you're going to have to what does her family say about your marriage?
she's not married, and that's fine. Like my family or her family?
Well, you're going to get married, right?
Yeah, I want to.
What does her family say about that?
That's fine.
They're okay with it?
Yeah.
Does she have kids?
I guess no, she doesn't have kids. She came through, like she got married to a green card holder when she came to US, then she got her green card, then she got her citizenship. She might have she might adopted one kid, I guess, but they're fine.
Wait, you don't know if she has a kid or not?
She has adopted one kid.
Oh, adopted
I guess.
one. Okay.
Yeah. But
have you met that kid?
Yeah, I have met.
Is that the kid of the person that sponsored her for a green card?
Sorry?
Is this kid?
No. She came through marriage only. She got married to, like, it was 20 years back when she got married to a US citizen. Then she came here and then she got her US, but they got divorced after that. The marriage was not considered.
I think this is a tough case. I think you're going to have a hard time convincing them that it's real. You're going to need a lot of work. You're going to need a lot of detail. It's not going to be easy.
Sorry? Yeah.
All right. I think we lost him. All right, everybody. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday. I may or may not do a show tomorrow or Sunday. Ismail's here, so we might just hang out with him. We'll see. If you want to get in the waiting room when we do, go to the text word show to 314-470-3300, and we'll see you next time. If you guys have a chance and can go to reviewhackinglaw.com, I'd appreciate it. Review Hacking Law, leave us a 5-star review. Somebody left us a 1-star review with no comment the other day, so that sort of sucks. So if you guys have a minute, and plus we're going to open our Chicago office here pretty soon, so everyone can leave us a review over there. I hope you all have a great night, a great day, a great Friday, and a good weekend if I don't see you. Bye, guys. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in the state of disease.